Let the Force be with you. Now, before we get this review started with, I want to say this: I'm not that big of a fan of Star Wars. Not that I hate it; it's because I barely have seen any of the movies. I'm only a fan of Star Wars through the video games, the toys, and the Clone Wars TV show. That's about it. But ever since Disney Plus came along, after watching some of the Star Wars shows like the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch, and after seeing a couple of the new Star Wars movies, I'm going to decide to give my in-depth review on them. Now, as far as the first 6 Star Wars movies goes, like I said, I wasn't a fan of them. I didn't hate them, but I didn't really see enough of them. The movies were okay. I've seen The Phantom Menace, saw that in theaters a decade ago. I've seen Attack on the Clones, bits and pieces of Revenge of the Sith. I've seen A New Hope, bits and pieces of The Empire Strikes Back. I've seen Return of the Jedi. I have not seen Solo. I have seen Rogue One. I've seen The Force Awakens. I've seen The Last Jedi. I have not seen Rise of Skywalker. So about 50% of the Star Wars movies I've seen, and the others I've seen bits and pieces of, or I haven't seen at all. Now, today's review is going to be Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Now, this is kind of an odd one. Usually when I do a movie review series, I start with the movie that came first. So in this case, let me get it off the shelf here. In this case, Star Wars A New Hope would come first. This movie was released in 1977. This would have been the first movie I would have reviewed. But since George Lucas went back and made the prequels, redid the timeline, and messed with the original trilogy, he now refers to Phantom Menace as the first Star Wars movies, which causes some backlash amongst the Star Wars fans. Some of them did not like it that George Lucas went back and messed with the originals. The prequels were what they were. George Lucas, he didn't mess with those. But when you touch the original trilogy, that's when things get dicey. That's what the fans didn't like. If you go back and watch the original trilogy, he did change a lot of things about these movies. The special effects, the CGI, how the movies were made. Even myself, I am against it as well. He didn't really need to go into the original movies and change everything. So basically, the theatrical copies of those movies that came out years ago, they're pretty much lost. We're stuck with the current DVD versions, which are slightly altered. Anyway, we are going to review the Star Wars movies in order of events. We'll review them in sequential order. So we'll start off with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, released in 1999, 16 years after Return of the Jedi. The story is set 30 years before A New Hope. We've got some time to tell between each Star Wars film. The story goes, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, they are sent on a mission to solve a dispute between the Trade Federation and Naboo. But what they don't know is that there is a dark secret lurking behind them. That is the return of the Sith and Darth Maul. They are unaware that Chancellor Palpatine is also Darth Sidious, although some people can sense the dark side. Mace Windu and Yoda can. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, they believe that a boy that they have found, named Anakin Skywalker, may be the key to take down the Sith. The boy may be the chosen one, the prophecy. Or that's not the case. We all know Anakin becomes Darth Vader. Prequels, they kick off the start of the Skywalker saga. We won't find out who the prophecy is foretelling until we get to the Disney Star Wars films. We'll get to those. Now, What I like about the Phantom Menace, I like Ewan McGregor, I like Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Obi-Wan, I like their duo. I like Jake Lloyd as Anakin. I like Anakin's relationship with Padme and how he interacts with Qui-Gon Obi-Wan. I like his sense of humor. He's cute, he's young, he's adorable, he's funny. I think Jake Lloyd plays that part perfectly. That's the point he wants to get across. How could this guy possibly become Darth Vader? Unbelievable. So I like his performance in the film. I especially like Natalie Portman. And for a decade ago, when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, man. Dude, this girl, man, she was one of my first celebrity crushes. She got me hard. I'm serious about that. Like I was feeling something I never felt before in Natalie Portman. My goodness. Even today, she still has the looks. Sorry. I didn't mean to get that side out of me out there. But hey, she's one hot piece, man. So I did like her in the film. The ending of the movie, Qui-Gon Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, that was pretty good. The best part of the movie, and it set the tone. The sad part is it was right at the end. Jar Jar Binks. A lot of people don't like Jar Jar, but I like him. I think he's kind of funny. Yeah, it might be a little annoying, but, I think he's tolerable. That's all the positives I have. As far as the negatives go, Mark Hamill's right. The dialogue is not good, especially in the opening sequence. The giant title cards. I tried reading them, but man, they're way too long. They're way too long. It's like Georgie gets caught up in his own imagination. It's great to have an imagination, but don't get caught up into it, George. Alright? Another negative, this movie's it's also uneventful. It is. There are some parts that I like about it, but most part of this movie, nothing really happens. The ending is the best part. That's the only part you really kind of need to watch. But as far as my rating with this movie goes, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's good. I like it. I don't love it. I don't think it's the best Star Wars movie I've seen. I don't think it's the worst. But, it's good. I think it did what it needed to do. It started the Skywalker saga. This movie, it was never meant to top the original trilogy. The original trilogy, they had the bangs and the charms. That this movie was kind of lacking. But at the same time, this movie didn't really need all that. This movie was never going to top the original trilogy. Nor was this movie ever intended to be a cash grab like the Disney films. This movie was to do one thing, that was to tell the Skywalker story. That's what George wanted to do. That's what George Lucas wanted to do. He wanted to tell a story, and that's what he did. Maybe he could have done a little bit better job. Maybe he could have made this movie a little bit more eventful. But, I like The Phantom Menace. Give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's good. So, that's my review. This is a quick review, about 10 minutes. Just want to get this out there. So moving on to Attack of the Clones, Episode 2. So we'll see you all there for that one.